liberty and justice. Ladies and gentlemen, usually I will conclude by quoting something from the sayings or writings of the Tunku. This year I won't, not because I've run out of quotes, but rather because, apart from our 2014 annual report, we're also distributing a copy of a book generously donated by Think City, entitled Enduring Truths from Statements and Words of Almarhum Tunku Abdul Rahman Putra Al-Haj, that little black square book. It's full of great quotes, but also includes his full speeches when becoming president of UMNO in 1951 and upon relinquishing that position 20 years later. There are some amusing recollections, such as that by Lord Ogmore, of when the Tunku and Lee Kuan Yew were cooking curry in his house in London, but there weren't enough spices. So Tunku Jaafar, the future Yang Dipertuan Agong, who was the High Commissioner to the UK at the time, had to go and find some more. The book also contains reminders of strong leadership that we enjoyed across our institutions when there was no Official Secrets Act, no Sedition Act, and no Printing Presses and Publication Act. Like the staunch independence of the Election Commission when it was headed by Datuk Mustafa Al-Bakri, and the respect that political opponents could still have for each other. As a new generation of Malaysians clamours for ever better leadership, there are obvious lessons from our own relatively recent history. We all yearn for the day that the answer to the question, where is the leadership, is exactly where it should be, like it once was. Perhaps one day, our Houses of Parliament will once again grace the covers of a guidebook to our beloved country. I hope you enjoy the rest of the morning. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Tunku Abidin. Next, I would like to welcome our Chief Executive, Wan Saiful Wan Jan, on stage to deliver his welcoming address.
I never really like this rostrum. It really makes me look short. So I hope you can at least see my head. So, okay. Thank you very much, Fariza. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. It's really a huge pleasure to see everyone again, especially Tunku Nerang, Tunku Khadijah, Datin Sri Liliana, Tun Zaidin, Tunku Ali is here as well. Thank you very much, all the distinguished guests, and all of you for joining us today. Time has certainly moved very fast, and now we are celebrating the 5th year of Ideas. I still remember on the 8th of February 2010, in the same hall, when Ideas was officially launched by Yang Berhormat Mulia Tengku Razali Hamzah. As many of you already know, we chose the date 8th of February 2010 because the setting up of Ideas was inspired by the vision of Almarhum Tunku Abdul Rahman, that this country shall forever be a democratic sovereign state founded upon the principles of liberty and justice. That is why we chose to launch Ideas on the same date as Tunku's birthday. Today would be his 112th birthday. So today's event, just like in previous years, serves two purposes. To remember the Tunku, our Bapa Kemerdekaan and Bapa Malaysia, and to remember and to report to you what we have done over the last year and our plans for this coming year. So just a few minutes ago, you heard a little bit from Tunku Abidin about Tunku Abdul Rahman. Later on, after me, in just a few minutes, Tunku's granddaughter, Datin Lara Hussein, will tell you a much more personal story about the Tunku. So I'm not going to go into that territory. Instead, please allow me to spend the next few minutes to report to you more on our activities. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout 2014, we continued our effort to translate Tunku's vision of liberty and justice into policy proposals. Some people have actually asked me, if we are really inspired by the Tunku, why don't we have publications or events or seminars that discuss about his thoughts and his ideals? Well, the answer to us is very simple. We don't want to organize events or publish papers that merely says, oh, 40 years ago, Tunku said this, 40 years ago, Tunku said that. Of course, we need to do that too. That is really important to be done. But our purpose as an organization is to tell the Malaysian public and policymakers what liberty and justice that the Tunku spoke about should mean when it comes to public policy. So the year 2014 actually saw Ideas becoming a little bit more focused in doing just that. Last year, we created 3 units: the education unit, political economy unit, as well as our outreach unit. Under the education unit, we campaigned for there to be liberty for parents to choose the type of quality education that they want for their children, and for justice, especially for those who cannot afford to pay for better quality education. As an example, last year, we completed our nationwide survey of the bottom 40%. We asked a randomized sample of about 1,300 parents across the nation, from Perlis to Johor to Sabah and Sarawak, about the challenges that they face when sending their children to school and what their aspirations are. The findings are very telling, and actually it's not surprising at all. So to cut it short, we found that the bottom 40% have exactly the same aspirations as everybody else, and they want to be able to choose the right school, a better school for their children. But the reality is they cannot afford that choice. They do not have enough money to pay any school fees, so they're stuck with whatever government school that exists in their local village. So you can see that while we may take school choice for granted, many people living in the Klang Valley may not be experiencing the same problems as those living in rural areas. The poor, they do not have the liberty to choose a better school, and surely that is not justice. That is why throughout the year, we held seminars and roundtable discussion. These are just some of the pictures. We have 10 seminars in total, and we published 5 policy papers, all advocating for choice to be given to everyone, especially the poor. Most of the work were done behind closed doors. In fact, if you really think about it, this is the only public event that we organize. Almost every other event, almost everything else that we do, any activities, events, meetings, seminars, are by invitation only. And that is because we believe it is more effective to persuade rather than to confront. And I must say, I am really pleased that some of our ideas have actually been incorporated into the Malaysian Education Blueprint. Our political economy unit embarked on a major project to raise public awareness on the need to push on with liberalization and to make government spending more rules-based and more transparent. I'm really pleased that Dr. Razin Sali, who is with us today, he will be delivering the keynote speech afterwards. I'm really pleased that Dr. Razin Sali has agreed to accept our invitation for him to be the first holder of our Ideas Chair in Political Economy and Governance. As I said just now, you will hear from Dr. Razin Sali in a little bit, and you will see that he is a renowned expert in the field of international trade policy. The bulk of our work under this unit also took place behind closed doors. This unit held another 10 seminars and roundtable discussions, and we also published a further 3 policy papers. So that's in total already about 20 events run throughout last year. There are 2 things that I want to highlight under this unit in particular. First, our proposals on how to make government procurement more rules-based were really liked by some parts of government and really hated by some others. I will not name them, maybe not just yet. However, working with the Prime Minister's department, we are still trying very hard to get these ideas into the government transformation program. I guess the biggest lesson that I learned from that particular project is there is no such thing as a unified government. But I won't say more because I really do want them to accept our ideas. Don't reject our ideas completely just yet. Anyway, so the second thing I want to say about this unit is we're also making inroads into helping to strengthen the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, the MACC. We have always argued that the MACC should be more independent and more empowered. The work that we do in this field may very well lead to a constitutional amendment. I won't preempt the government's announcement on this topic, but I do want to say that if we succeed, I think we might be one of the very, very few NGOs in the country that can successfully help to lobby for a constitutional amendment. So that's quite a big deal. And then we have also, this is the outreach, yes. So we have also strengthened our outreach activities. We held a course on political economy in partnership with Nottingham University Malaysia campus, and we work in particular with 2 youth groups. One is a Sekolah Pemikir Jalanan in Perlis, another one is a Kelas Pencerahan who runs activities in the Klang Valley to further engage the younger generation. So I told you just now that most of our activities are actually behind closed doors, but through the outreach unit, we do have some activities where we support other organizations to do the outreach. Then, let me also very briefly talk about two other projects, the Ideas Autism Center and the Ideas Academy. These are our attempt to prove that good quality education can indeed be provided for the underprivileged. Sort of proof of concept, if you like. So the Ideas Autism Center is now in its third year. We have 30 autistic children from low-income households under our care. Here are some pictures of the students, and the teachers are actually all with us today. They have a booth outside. So that's the Ideas Autism Center. The Ideas Academy, on the other hand, is a brand new, exciting initiative to provide secondary level education to underprivileged urban poor children in Kuala Lumpur. We are partnering with the Young Refugee Cause Foundation from the Netherlands to run this project, and we use the Canadian Ontario curriculum. We just signed the lease for a new premise, which is really exciting. We signed a lease last week, and hopefully with a new premise within the next 3 to 4 years, we hope to be able to cater for up to about 300 students, and it's really an exciting adventure. And I suppose if any of you are sending your kids to any of the Canadian Canadian private school, you will see that this one is actually free. So there we go. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let me now go into the finances. So many people have been asking us how are we funded, and usually my answer is very little bit. As you know, even though my proper job title is Chief Executive of Ideas, my actual role is as a professional beggar. So these are the organizations who have been so unfortunate to have accepted me to be begging money from them. So a huge thanks to all our main funders from last year. And I actually want to say a special thanks to two people in this hall today, Dato' Anthony Cooper and Datin Andrea, let me try pronouncing this surname properly, Datin Andrea Mayola. Yes, okay, there we go. They have been supporting Ideas since before we were launched. And they have also been cajoling their friends into donating as well. So I'm very happy to have them as friends, but I'm not sure if those of you who they have forced to donate to us are that happy either. But anyway, so thank you very much to Anthony and Andrea. Of course, we continue to receive generous support from other donors as well. Yayasan Saim Dabi, Hong Leong Foundation, ECM Libra Foundation, and the ANA Charitable Trust have provided us funds to run the Ideas Autism Center. The British High Commission is a major funder for our political economy unit. The embassies of France and the United States, as well as the High Commission of Canada, are also very supportive. The list would be too long. As you can see, there are more organizations there. And if I were to add the other individuals who've been supporting us as well, the list would be very long. But I want to assure you that we are really, really grateful for your support. And I also want to assure you that we will continue to come for more money from you. Just to show you that we are actually a very responsible beggar, let me just explain a bit more about our income and expenditure. As you can see here, in 2014, well, I can't see very well, but I hope you can. In 2014, our total income was about 1.845 million ringgit. The trends over the last 5 years has been quite positive, actually, with increasing income year on year. Our prediction is actually it's going to stabilize for the next few years, and I do hope that we will stabilize. We will not grow that much bigger. I don't mind having more money, but the team hopefully will not grow that much bigger, because we should be focusing in doing the projects that we are doing now much better. So this is in terms of the income. In terms of the expenditure, our total expenditure last year was 1.842 million, and of course the expenditure year by year is also on an increasing trend. We have a tiny surplus from last year. These are the numbers. I don't know if you can see them, but again, you can see that year on year the surplus. There has been a little bit of a surplus. We made a big mistake, maybe. In 2011, we actually made a big mistake because we recorded a rather big surplus, and therefore we were taxed. As a free market organization, we do not like tax. So we have been more cautious to make sure that we either just break even or very tiny little surplus at the end. So far we have been doing well. So last year only about 2,000 ringgit in surplus, which is really good. I know it sounds weird for those of you who run businesses, but we really like not making that much money. So there we go. So these are the numbers for the last 5 years, but you will see more of this in the annual report, so everything's there. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because actually our audited accounts will be published in July. We always publish our audited accounts, and all the funders, whether they like it or not, their name will be published in there as well. We have a policy of actually publishing the names of our funders. So you will see all the details in the audit report that will come in July. So ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, we have some very exciting initiative. Our full-time team has already grown from just 3 people in 2010 to 17 people in 2014. And in fact, maybe by next month or within the next 2 months, it's going to grow to either 20 or 21. So we will see just a little bit more growth this year. We will, of course, continue with our education, political economy, and outreach units, but we are also embarking on some work at the ASEAN level. We have announced the establishment of the Southeast Asia Network for Development, or CNED. More about this will come out later on, so I'm not going to go into the details now. But today marks the beginning of another important initiative. Towards the end of today, we will be announcing, Tunku Abidin will be announcing the names of 20 youth leaders whom we are appointing as our National Unity Youth Fellows. We are investing about 300,000 ringgit to train, develop, and support these 20 youth leaders so that they can become advocates of national unity. I think you will agree that today is a worrying time, and there are some clowns out there who are working really hard to divide us. So we hope our youth leaders will contribute to countering these illiberal voices. Ladies and gentlemen, let me end by saying that I'm really, really grateful to all the team members in IDEAS. Trisha has been a great Chief Operating Officer. Puan Sharifah has been really, really wonderful at the IDEAS Autism Center. And every single one of them, from the staff to the interns, have been really, really great. We could not have done anything without them. I'm, of course, most grateful to the families of Almarhum Tunku Abdul Rahman for allowing us to do our little bit to revive his ideals and vision. We will never be able to do him justice, for he is truly a great man, but I promise you that we will continue to try our best. And of course, thank you to all of you for being here today and for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Wan Saiful. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Yang Mulia Sharifah Menyalara Hussein. She is the youngest daughter of Tunku Khadijah Tunku Abdul Rahman Putra Al-Haj. Like her grandfather, the Tunku, she is an avid sportswoman with a passion for horses. Having managed to jump nimbly over a potential career as a diplomat, she now runs as a powerful thoroughbred in the advertising world. She is the first Bumiputra woman to lead an advertising agency in Malaysia. Her agency, MNC Saatchi Malaysia, is one of the top 10 agencies in the country. MNC Saatchi specializes in nation branding and brand transformation, and has transformed many JLC companies into becoming regional and global players. Allow her to now transform your next 20 minutes. Please join me in welcoming Yang Mulia Sharifah Menyalara Hussein.